Have you ever wondered if the way you care for your intimate health now might actually be working against you, especially after 60? You're not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common questions I hear from older men. Not just about whether self-pleasure is still okay, but how to approach it safely, respectfully, and in a way that actually supports your body instead of straining it. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and over the past 9 years, I've worked with thousands of men just like you. Men who want to stay connected to their bodies, feel confident in their sexuality, and age with dignity and strength. Today, we're going to talk about something rarely discussed, but incredibly important: how to approach self-care safely after 60, and the 3 big mistakes you should absolutely avoid. This isn't about shame. This isn't about performance. This is about protecting your circulation, your prostate, your hormones, and your emotional well-being. So if you've ever felt unsure about what's normal or what's safe, you're in the right place. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. And if this resonates, hit that subscribe button. Let's build a space where men can talk openly about real health. First, I want to reassure you of something important. Self-pleasure is not only normal, it's genuinely healthy, especially as we grow older. As the years pass, many men begin to question whether their body still needs this kind of release, or worse, they start to feel ashamed for still wanting it. But here's the truth. Regular, gentle self-stimulation is one of the simplest and most natural ways to support male health after 60. It helps keep blood circulating through the penis. It nourishes the prostate. It lowers stress hormones, and it even improves sleep quality by calming the nervous system. But, and this is critical, the way your body responds to touch in your 60s or 70s is very different from how it did in your 20s or 30s. And there's no shame in that. It's not a failure, it's biology. As we age, skin becomes thinner. Nerve endings that once fired instantly now take a little more coaxing. And blood vessels, especially in sensitive areas, can be more reactive and easily strained. That's why your approach needs to evolve along with your body. This isn't about using more force or chasing intensity like you once might have. It's about tuning in, being mindful, being present, listening to your body with care instead of treating it like a machine you need to fix. When you slow down and engage with yourself in a more thoughtful way, the experience becomes not only more pleasurable, but far more beneficial to your long-term health. Many men never hear this. No one teaches them that the old patterns might not serve their body anymore. So they keep doing what they've always done, and they end up feeling frustrated, disconnected, or even a little bruised, physically and emotionally. But the moment you realize your body just wants something different now, something slower, kinder, more nourishing, that's when things begin to shift. That's when a new kind of pleasure becomes available, one that feels deeply connected and restorative. And that brings us to the first mistake so many men make, often without realizing it. The first major mistake is one I see again and again: rushing. And while it might seem like a small thing, I want you to really pause and consider it, because the impact of rushing through self-pleasure at this age is bigger than most men realize. A lot of older men treat this like something they need to get over with. It becomes a habit of speed, done quickly with tension, often in silence and secrecy. But the truth is, this kind of rushed stimulation can quietly begin working against you. Here's what happens when you rush. Your nervous system remains in a state of alertness. Your blood vessels constrict instead of expanding. Your heart rate may rise, but not in a healthy, relaxed way, more in a stressed, shallow breathing kind of way. Your brain is still scanning for danger or interruption, and instead of receiving deep, nourishing blood flow to the penis, your body stays on edge. This prevents you from truly relaxing into sensation. And the result? You might end up feeling unsatisfied. You might feel a little sore. Or worse, you may find it harder and harder to even reach arousal at all. When this becomes a repeated pattern, your body gets trained to associate touch with tension, not with safety, not with calm. And that means your arousal process, which should be smooth and enjoyable, becomes more mechanical, more rigid, and less responsive. The good news? This can absolutely be changed, and it starts with a simple shift. Give yourself more time, even just a few extra minutes to slow down, take a few deep breaths, and actually arrive in the moment can change everything. You don't need to turn it into a spa ritual unless you want to, but creating a small window where you're not being pulled in 5 directions, not checking your phone, not waiting to be interrupted, tells your body it's safe to let go. And when your body feels safe, the blood vessels soften, the nerves awaken, the tissues become responsive again. That, my friend, is when true satisfaction happens. Not through pressure, not through speed, but through presence, through giving your body the gentle attention it's been quietly asking for all along. The second mistake, and this is a common one, often developed over time without even realizing it, is using too much pressure. I can't stress this enough. Many men, especially after 50 or 60, begin to grip more tightly or move more aggressively during self-stimulation. Sometimes it's out of habit. Sometimes it's because the body feels a little less sensitive and they're just trying to feel something. But while the intention makes sense, the result can cause more harm than good in the long run. Here's the thing. The penis isn't just skin and muscle. It's made up of delicate, sponge-like blood vessels, sensitive nerve endings, and connective tissue that's designed to respond best to steady, gentle stimulation. When you use a tight grip repeatedly, it creates friction, compression, and strain on those tissues. Over time, this can lead to decreased sensitivity where the nerves stop responding the way they used to. Some men even develop what's been informally called death grip syndrome, where their body becomes trained to only respond to one very specific type of pressure and motion, usually their own hand. This makes it much harder to enjoy intimacy with a partner or to experience natural arousal. It can also lead to soreness, irritation, or tiny tears in the skin that you may not even notice at first. And if that area becomes inflamed or damaged, it can make future stimulation less comfortable, less enjoyable, and more stressful. That creates a cycle, and it's one you can absolutely break. The solution is all about gentleness. Try loosening your grip just a little. If it feels strange at first, that's okay. It might take a few days or weeks for your body to adapt, but it will. You can also use a natural, unscented lubricant to reduce friction and protect the skin. Focus more on how the experience feels rather than trying to get it done. Breathe deeply, relax your body, and think of this not as a race or a task, but as a kind of therapeutic massage, something meant to keep your tissue healthy, your circulation flowing, and your mind in sync with your body. The more you approach this time with patience and kindness, the more rewarding it becomes. You don't have to force pleasure. You just have to allow it in the right conditions. Now, the third mistake might catch you off guard because it has nothing to do with how you touch your body. It has everything to do with how you feel about it. And ignoring the emotional side of self-pleasure is something many older men have done for years without realizing the impact. Because let's face it, most of us were never taught that our emotions and our hormones are connected, that our thoughts, our memories, our stress levels, they all shape how we experience touch and arousal. For some men, this shows up as shame. Maybe you were raised to believe that masturbation was wrong, dirty, or something you should hide. For others, it's about the changes that come with age, the way your body looks, the way it responds, how long it takes. And slowly, these thoughts can become quiet sources of stress. You start wondering, am I normal? Is this okay? And instead of finding comfort in the experience, you feel tension, guilt, or even avoidance. But here's what's important to remember. Emotions that are pushed down don't just go away. They get stored in the body, in the muscles, in the breath, even in the way your blood flows. Over time, this emotional weight can lead to performance anxiety, disconnection from your body, even depression. And for many men, that loss of connection turns into a loss of desire, not because their body can't respond, but because their heart no longer feels safe in the experience. So what can you do? First, start with compassion. Remind yourself that this is not about performance or proving anything. This is about connection, healing, taking care of yourself in a deeply personal way. And if you find that difficult, that's okay too. Talk to someone. It could be a doctor, a therapist, even a friend who understands what you're going through. There's nothing weak about needing support. In fact, it takes strength to open up about something this personal. You deserve to feel safe in your own skin. You deserve to enjoy your body, no matter your age. And being honest about your emotions can be one of the most powerful steps toward that. It's not just about physical release, it's about self-respect. And it starts with letting go of shame and replacing it with understanding. Now that we've walked through the 3 biggest mistakes, let's focus on something hopeful. How to create a healthy, safe, and satisfying self-care routine. One that supports your health, honors your experience, and feels good in every sense of the word. Start with cleanliness. Make sure your hands are clean. If you use any tools, cloths, or towels, keep them clean too. Try to create a space that feels quiet and calm, somewhere you can be alone, undistracted, and relaxed. Use a natural, fragrance-free lubricant to protect the skin and make things smoother. And always, always pay attention to what your body is telling you. If you feel pain, discomfort, tightness, or notice any changes like swelling, sores, or irritation, don't ignore it. These could be signs of something deeper, like inflammation, circulatory issues, or even a condition related to your prostate, and a doctor can help. But when done gently and mindfully, this practice can become a source of health. And if you're feeling unsure or like you're just beginning again after years of disconnect, that's perfectly okay. Many men rediscover their connection to their bodies in their 60s or 70s. It's not regression, it's evolution. It's learning what your body needs now, not what it used to need. And that's a beautiful thing. You're not broken. You're not past your prime. You're simply in a new phase of life, one that asks for more care, more intention, and more kindness. And when you respond to your body with that kind of care, it will respond back, often in powerful and beautiful ways. Let me share something with you that many men don't realize until much later in life. The relationship you have with your body right now is a reflection of every message you've ever received about masculinity, about aging, about worthiness. Some of those messages were helpful, many were not, and some of them may still be living inside you, shaping how you see yourself when you look in the mirror, or how you feel when you're alone with your own thoughts. This matters because self-pleasure, when approached with awareness, is not just a physical act. It's an opportunity to rewrite those old stories, to tell your body, I'm still here, I still care, you still matter. And that kind of message, repeated over time with sincerity and tenderness, can heal wounds you didn't even know you were carrying. Think about it. How often do we, as men, truly give ourselves permission to feel good without earning it first? How often do we allow ourselves to receive pleasure without guilt, without rushing, without making it transactional? For many of us, the answer is rarely, if ever. We've been taught to push, to perform, to prove. But what if this moment, this practice, could be different? What if it could be a quiet rebellion against all the harshness you've been taught to direct at yourself? When you approach your body with curiosity instead of criticism, something shifts. You start to notice things you've been ignoring for years, the way your breath changes when you relax, the warmth that spreads through your chest when you let yourself slow down, the surprising sensitivity that returns when you stop forcing and start allowing. These aren't small things. They're signals that your body is still alive, still responsive, still capable of joy. And here's what I've observed in my years of working with older men. The ones who maintain the healthiest relationship with their sexuality as they age aren't the ones who try to reclaim what they had in their youth. They're the ones who become curious about what's possible now. They're the ones who stop comparing themselves to their younger selves and start exploring who they are today. They discover that pleasure doesn't have to be loud or intense to be meaningful. Sometimes the quietest moments are the most profound. This is why the emotional component we discussed earlier is so crucial. Your mental state doesn't just influence your experience, it creates it. When your mind is filled with worry, comparison, or self-judgment, your body receives those signals as stress. Blood flow becomes restricted, muscles tense. The very physiology that allows for arousal and pleasure gets interrupted before it even has a chance to begin. But when you approach this time with acceptance, with patience, with genuine care for yourself, your body recognizes safety. Your nervous system downshifts from fight or flight into rest and digest. Blood vessels dilate, nerve endings become more receptive. Hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, the ones that create feelings of connection and well-being, begin to flow more freely. This is the biological foundation of pleasure, and it only happens when you give yourself permission to be present and vulnerable. Some men tell me they feel selfish taking this time for themselves. Others say they feel guilty, as if they should be past this by now. And I want to address that directly because it's a form of self-abandonment that far too many men practice without realizing it. Taking care of your intimate health is not selfish. It's essential. It's preventive medicine. It's emotional hygiene. It's an investment in your overall quality of life. Regular mindful self-stimulation helps maintain erectile function by keeping the tissues elastic and the blood vessels healthy. It supports prostate health by promoting regular drainage and reducing inflammation. It regulates cortisol and other stress hormones, which directly impact your heart, your sleep, and your immune system. And perhaps most importantly, it keeps you connected to your body in a way that many men lose as they age. A connection that affects everything from your confidence to your ability to experience intimacy with a partner. So when you take time for this practice, you're not indulging some juvenile impulse. You're honoring a fundamental aspect of your health and humanity. And the more you can internalize that truth, the more natural and nourishing this practice becomes. Now, I also want to acknowledge something that doesn't get talked about enough: loneliness. Many older men experience profound loneliness, whether they're partnered or not. And that loneliness can make this topic even more complicated. For some, self-pleasure becomes the only form of physical touch they experience. For others, it becomes a painful reminder of what they feel they've lost or what they fear they'll never have again. If that resonates with you, I want you to know that you're not alone in feeling that way. And I want to encourage you to see this practice not as a substitute for connection, but as a form of it. Connection with yourself. Because the truth is, you cannot fully connect with another person if you've abandoned yourself. You cannot offer presence and vulnerability to someone else if you haven't practiced it with yourself first. This is why I emphasize mindfulness so strongly. When you bring awareness to this experience, when you breathe, when you notice sensations without rushing toward an outcome, you're training yourself in the art of being present. And that skill, that capacity to be here now, is what makes intimacy possible, whether that intimacy is with yourself or with another person. Let me also address something practical that many men struggle with but rarely mention: changes in function. Maybe it takes longer to become aroused. Maybe the sensations feel different. Maybe orgasms are less intense or less frequent. These changes are normal, and they don't mean your body has failed you. They mean your body is aging, which is the most natural thing in the world. But here's what I've learned from working with countless men through these transitions. When you stop measuring your experience against some younger version of yourself, when you stop treating your body like it's supposed to perform the same way it did decades ago, you open up space for a different kind of satisfaction. One that's less about peak intensity and more about sustained presence, less about the destination and more about the journey. And for many men, this shift brings a depth of pleasure they never experienced in their youth, precisely because they've finally learned to slow down and pay attention. This is the gift that aging can offer if you let it. A chance to do things differently. A chance to unlearn the rushed, performance-focused patterns that may have served you once but no longer do. A chance to discover what your body actually enjoys now, not what it used to enjoy or what you think it should enjoy. And as you explore this new relationship with yourself, remember that it's okay to experiment. It's okay to try different approaches, different rhythms, different levels of stimulation. Your body is giving you feedback constantly. The key is learning to listen to it. If something doesn't feel good, adjust. If something causes discomfort, stop. If something brings you a sense of ease and pleasure, stay there a little longer. This is not a test you can fail. This is a conversation between you and your body, one that should be marked by curiosity, respect, and kindness. And the more you practice this kind of attentive self-care, the more it begins to influence other areas of your life. You become more patient with yourself, more accepting of your limitations, more grateful for what still works, more present in your daily experiences. Because ultimately, this practice is about so much more than sexual release. It's about reclaiming your body as a source of pleasure, comfort, and wisdom. It's about resisting the cultural message that older men don't deserve sensual joy. It's about honoring yourself as a complete human being whose needs and desires don't expire at some arbitrary age. So tonight, or whenever you feel ready, give yourself the gift of attention. Not performance, not pressure, just presence. Create a space where you feel safe and unhurried. Take a few deep breaths and let your body soften. Touch yourself with the same care you would offer to someone you deeply love. Notice what you feel without judging it. And allow yourself to receive whatever your body has to offer in that moment, whether it's profound pleasure or simply a sense of connection and peace. You deserve that. You've earned it through every year you've lived, through every challenge you've faced, through every moment you've shown up for others. Now it's time to show up for yourself with the same devotion and care. Your body still matters. Your pleasure still matters. and your confidence is worth protecting. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing because your body still matters, your pleasure still matters, and your confidence is worth protecting. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and take good care of yourself.